Welcome, everybody, to WellWave Now on the Backstory series. Today we have Dr. Ethan Kellum, who is a orthopedic surgeon and a team doctor for some professional teams. We'll get into that in a little bit of the backstory here, but welcome to the program, Dr. Ethan.
Hey, thanks for having me so much.
Yeah, it's exciting to get to know you better and look forward to having you on the full podcast. But we want to hear a little more about where you grew up and how life was like for you as a child. So where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in a small town in western Tennessee called Henderson, which is 30 minutes south of Jackson. Jackson's kind of the hub in between Memphis and Nashville. So I'm a country boy from a little town.
When you say little town, I'm a Nebraskan. And I used to say little town was 32,000 when I grew up there. But there are towns there. Somebody told me, hey, there are towns with 100. There are towns with 15. So how small was this town?
Yep. So we had 5,000 in the town of Henderson and another 20,000 in the county. And it's probably still that same population today. So yeah, we're talking 5,000 in the town, another 20,000 in the county.
Wow. Yeah, I've driven through Jackson many times. I actually stopped off there even a couple of times, but I never recall Henderson. So is it a little bit south of
It
the?
is 30 minutes due south of Jackson.
Okay, yeah. So on the 40 headed over to Nashville, right?
Correct. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Many a days on that highway.
So did you were you only child? Did you have siblings? What was life like?
Yeah, so I was the youngest of my mother's children. I have an older brother who's 5 years and some change older than I am, and my dad died when I was young, around 3 years of age, and so I was taken care of by my aunts and uncles and my grandmother until her death, and my mom worked to support her two children, and like I said, I had an older brother.
So sorry to hear about how you lost your father that young. I lost mine at 31, and that was still too young.
Yeah, oh for sure.
But so with that, growing up around the extended family, but were you out that now I don't know Tennessee that well. I kind of flashed into Tennessee once or twice, but is that hunting territory? Is that fishing territory? Did you chop wood? What'd you do? Come on.
Yeah, we did all of those things. One, first of all, we tried to stay out of trouble. When you live in the country, you can get into a lot of trouble in the way of almost killing yourself, a million times on ATVs. We did a lot of hunting, we did a lot of fishing, riding bikes, all the things that, once again, kids do in the country. So, yeah, those are the things I did growing up. And, you know, having a single mom, there was a lot of time by myself and with my friends doing things. And once again, I'm happy to be alive today.
Yeah, anytime you get firearms and ATVs, and back in the day, the ATVs were three wheelers, which were really dangerous,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Even have the four wheels. So, yeah, a lot of fun. So, do you still keep up with any fishing and hunting?
So my kids like to do some fishing when we can. I don't do it as much these days, but I enjoy those things. They're fun and good for your mental aspect and just being out in nature. Even if you don't catch anything, it's always a good time.
Yeah. Did you carry on any family traditions from when you and your brother were growing up that you've carried on with your boys?
We didn't have necessarily a lot of family traditions. We definitely started some with my kids, so nothing that we necessarily carried on, and yeah, we kind of had a clean slate, and been able to do the things that we wanted to do.
So what have you kind of established for your own family then now?
Yeah, the biggest thing for us is being together, and my kids know that I don't give them a lot of gifts. I'm going to give them memories. So we're going to spend time going to places. We're going to go out of the country, and we're just going to have a good time being together. So they get the things that they need, but they don't get a bunch of things as far as physical things. They're going to get those trips and those times together and all that. That's the biggest tradition that I want to see with my kids, is what they do with their kids, because that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah, yeah. The items can break and fall apart and go by the wayside, but memories, man, they last forever. So,
Forever.
yeah, that's excellent. So, I know a lot of orthopedic surgeons come from the sports background. When you were growing up, did you play a lot of sports? Were you more into music? What was your thing growing up?
Yeah, so I was very typical, small town kid. I played the big three, football, baseball, basketball. I would say that I was fairly athletic, had a quick step, and could jump pretty high. And so those are the things that I did and enjoyed. And obviously I think those things taught me a lot about things moving forward in my life. But my mom thought it was very important for me to be involved in sports teams, and basketball is what I kind of settled on in high school. Probably shouldn't have done that as I'm only 5'9", but it's what I love the most, and was that was a part of my family. My dad played basketball and played in college. My brother played basketball, played in college. I played basketball, tried to play in college, but like I said, at 5'9", that didn't quite work out, but it worked out for me.
Yeah.
So with all that, so you love how your mother influenced you to take part in sports and be active in that, probably to keep you out of that trouble you talked about.
Yeah.
But who had the most influence on you in coming up and kind of shaping your direction and your thought process?
Yeah, yeah. This is one of the things that you may not suspect, but my mom was very good about having, allowing me to be surrounded by people that would be a good influence on me.
Mhm.
And so, although I didn't have a father, I was around men that did certain things that I would see. And so, I was influenced by my friends' fathers. I was influenced by books of people. And then as I made friends, getting into college, there were three brothers that were all physicians that were a huge influence on me, and they were close enough to my age that it allowed me to understand, the road that I needed to take. But I was in Boy Scouts, and from Boy Scouts, I did this medical explorer program, and that shaped my way as far as going into medicine. And reading books by Ben Carson. Loved those books. And so there were, like I said, a lot of people that influenced my life. My basketball coach was a huge influence on me, my high school basketball coach. So yeah, a lot of people and helped shape me as I went.
Yeah, well, let's switch gears then into the professional career now, and find out more about what got you to where you're at and the point that you're at today. And so, what
Hmm.
would you say the essence of your healthcare wellness work that you do today? What is that? What's your
Yeah,
main focus?
my main focus is to help people to live a better life. And I like to say to live a better life through innovation. And so that's really where it starts and ends for me. That's my calling in life, um, and that's what gets me up every morning. Besides those kids, that's what gets me excited and my why for a lot of things.
So that's that you talked about there. That's always like to get to as well as to what do you personally get out of it? So it sounds like you instead of it could be the challenge, but also you say you talked about just the reward of seeing people live better and thrive is good. Anything else that you get out of it personally as you do your work?
Yeah, it's the curiosity. It's just fun to me to understand and to go down a road that hasn't been gone down at times. And I'm very thankful for my medical education, what I received, and but yeah, sometimes it's just like when you can go down a different path that no one's been down, and you can help people in certain ways. That's a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, did you always know you wanted to be a doctor, or when did you decide to start pursuing that?
Yeah, two big things, and I mentioned one of them already, but two big things were huge for me. When I was 13 years of age, my mom said to me, she said, "You have the hands of a surgeon." Now, I didn't know what the hands of a surgeon looked like, and I didn't even know why she said that to me. Looking back on that now, that's super odd to say to your 13-year-old child, but that's what my mom said to me. And then there was the Medical Explorer program that through the Boy Scouts that I was able to go in the hospital at 16 years of age and see some of the workings of that. And I'm gonna add one other thing that's a little bit different, and don't fault me on this, but it was what influenced me. But Bill Cosby, the Bill Cosby Show, and I know people have certain things, feelings, and all that about Bill Cosby, and that's great and that's wonderful, or not great and not wonderful. How whatever you want to think about it is fine with me. But I looked at his life on that show to say, oh man, I'd like to do that. And so those are probably the three things that really set me on that path of going down that road. And in fact, when I was the medical explorer, because Bill Cosby and it was Heathcliff Huxtable on the show.
Mhm.
Because he was an OBGYN, that was the floor that I chose to work on during that Medical Explorer program. Now, I realized that I didn't want to do OBGYN after that, but that's a whole nother story.
So along those paths, so now you're in the orthopedic world, but in that orthopedic world, we'll get into that more in the podcast itself. But within that world now, do you have a dream project for yourself at this point?
Dream project for those things, I, the dream project for me is to continue to advance um, knowledge to help people, less invasive, probably more preventative, and like talking truly preventative. I think a lot of people give lip service to to prevention, um, and but truly being preventative. I mean, that's my big project, is to do things less invasively, cutting edge, and truly preventative. And that goes to all disease, not just my love of musculoskeletal things. That goes to all chronic diseases out there.
Excellent, excellent. Well, before we move into the fun facts uh, portion of the backstory here, Dr. Ethan, we wanted to kind of tease the audience a little bit. Why don't you just give us a quick overview of all the sports teams that you've been involved with?
Yeah, so I was very thankful when I was in fellowship to be one of the assistant team positions for the Boston Celtics. Hated the Celtics growing up. I'm a fan for life now. I grew up a Bulls fan. And then, I've worked with a lot of players from a lot of different teams. Um, but officially, I now serve as one of the team positions for USA Basketball and also for the Tennessee Titans, which are, here in my hometown. But, I consult with a lot of different teams just because of my niche of regenerative medicine.
Well, that's amazing. I look forward to getting into more of those details when we have you on for the full podcast.
Yeah.
But I'll just as a side note, Danny Ainge, he's my guy.
Let me tell you about Danny Ainge. He is, and I'm glad he's your guy. He's an amazing person. Amazing person.
Yeah, I believe so as well. And haven't had the opportunity to spend very much time with him, but what I do know of him is he's been very impressive.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story about him real quick. I was doing some research when I was there in Boston, and we were over in the facility. The facility then was out in, it was, gosh, what part is the facility now is downtown Boston, but it was kind of out west, at that time. And so anyway, Danny was in there, and, he had 6 children. And he's a family guy, and those are the things that he talks about. And, he's just as down to earth could be. And he's a great dude.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, here's the fun facts. All right,
All
you ready
right,
for rapid fire?
let's
Just
go.
whatever first thing comes to mind. These are super easy, so don't worry about it. But are you more of an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Do you prefer the mountains or the beach?
Ooh, mountains.
Okay. And do you prefer coffee, tea, or something else?
Coffee.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Ethan, to take time to do the backstory with us. We look forward to having you on the podcast upcoming here on the Well Wave Now show. And until next time, stay curious, stay empowered, and everybody remember, wellness, it's in you.